Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, the first man was Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, and from him we got Sayyida Hawa as a separate woman. So men and women, and they got married and they had their children. So according to some narration, and this is not part of Aqidah, this is just a general understanding. So they used to have two children at the same time, one boy, one girl. So they were considered to be true brothers and sisters. When they had the next set of a boy and a girl, a twin, they would be considered a boy and a girl as a true brothers. But the one before and the after, they are not related as such in their Sharia, in order to make it possible for the human generation, the race, to continue. So the boy from the first set could marry the girl from the second set, and vice versa. And that is how it was. And that was the reason when Habil and Qabil, the two brothers, and they had their counterpart. So the Qabil counterpart was way too beautiful compared to the Habil's counterpart. And that is why he wanted to marry the true sister for him and wouldn't want Habil to take that sister as his wife. So that is why they had this issue. That was one of the reasons. There was other reasons as well mentioned in some tafsir book. Again, these are not written in stone. These are just, tafsirs, riwayah, and they have got some obviously substance to it, but not necessarily something that would be established as the most authentic narrations out there. But there's no harm in understanding and taking from there, because they're just trying to explain, and it makes very logical sense as well. So his sacrifice wasn't accepted, for example. That was another reason he became jealous of his brother. But anyway, so the question is, how could the siblings from the same parents get married together? Yeah, it's part of Sharia. Whatever Sharia dictates becomes the deen, becomes the Sharia, which becomes the law. So the law was that they can marry. That's fine. It's like in the Arafah day, on the Arafah day in Hajj, for Maghrib time, you're not supposed to pray Maghrib. Your Maghrib is not counted if you prayed on time. So you have to delay it until after Isha. So this is law. Now normally you should cover your head in prayer. Now you can't do that when you're in the state of Ihram. That's law. Normally you should have nikah before you have a relationship, and that's the standard practice. But when it comes to the concubines, you do not need nikah. You're still halal for each other, provided this is done in an Islamic way. The acquisition of a slave girl is done, which is not possible now because we are outside of that realm now. So, but it was okay, and it is still okay. Should there be a slave girl? But it is not for the last many years, mashallah, which is good. So rules are based on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made. It is not how you look at. It can change, and it does change, and it did change between different, or among the different nations. So different prophets had different ruling for their time. For example, Musa alayhi salam, their people had 25% of the savings to be given as charity, as zakah. Some prophets had more, or some had less prayer in a day. Likewise, for certain prophets, it was not permissible to pray anywhere except in the masjid, which is not the case with us. So there's several different things which are different in different shari'as. But when it comes to deen, which is the core principle, there's no difference. They're exactly the same. I hope it clarifies.